Good day. I am Mirielle Abiera under the subject Ed 305 Assessment in Learning 2 on the schedule 5:30 to 8:30 Friday. In this video, I will be discussing summative assessment, which is under Chapter 1, Summative Assessment 1, Planning and Implementing Classroom Tests. Summative assessments are used to evaluate student learning, skill acquisition, and academic achievement at the conclusion of a defined instructional period, typically at the end of a project, unit, course, semester, program, or school year. The definition of summative assessment is any method of evaluation performed at the end of a unit that allows a teacher to measure a student's understanding, typically against standardized criteria. The purpose of summative assessment is to gauge students' comprehension of the material presented at the end of a particular unit of work, and is often measured with a grade or percentage depending on the subject. In contrast to the informal nature of formative assessments, summative assessments require clear expectations and timelines to be set to give students the best opportunity to succeed. Teachers use rubrics or assessment criteria to ensure students understand what to expect in any such tests. The results of summative assessments are usually significant, used to determine whether a student passes a unit or even a class. The tests, assignments, or projects are used to determine whether students have learned what they were expected to learn. In other words, what makes an assessment summative is not the design of the test, assignment, or self-evaluation per se, but the way it is used, like for example, to determine whether and to what degree students have learned the material they have been taught. Summative assessments are given at the conclusion of a specific instructional period, and therefore they are generally evaluative rather than diagnostic. Like for example, they are more appropriately used to determine learning progress and achievement, evaluate the effectiveness of educational programs, measure progress toward improvement goals, or make course placement decisions, among other possible applications. Summative assessment results are often recorded as scores or grades that are then factored into a student's permanent academic record, whether they end up as letter grades on a report card or test scores used in the college admissions process. While summative assessments are typically a major component of the grading process in most districts, schools, and courses, not all assessments considered to be summative are graded. Some of the most well-known and widely discussed examples of summative assessments are the standardized tests administered by states and testing organizations, usually in math, reading, writing, and science. Other examples of summative assessments include end-of-unit or chapter test, end-of-term or semester tests. This pertains to the standardized tests that are used for the purposes of school accountability, college admissions, like for example the SAT or the AC, or end-of-course evaluation, for example advanced placement or international baccalaureate exam. Culminating demonstrations of learning or other forms of performance assessment, such as portfolios of student work that are collected over time and evaluated by teachers, or capstone projects that students work on over extended periods of time and that they present and defend at the conclusion of a school year or their high school education. Why is summative assessment important for learning? In the current education system, standard-driven instruction plays a significant role. Summative assessment, therefore, provides an essential benchmark to check the progress of students, institutions, and the educational program of the country as a whole. Summative assessment contributes largely towards improving the Philippine curriculum and overall curriculum planning. When summative assessment data indicates gaps across the board between student knowledge and target learning targets, schools may in turn to improved curriculum planning and new learning criteria to assess and improve their school attainment levels.